Oh, well, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Meet Channel and Meet Tina here. How's everyone's doing? First of all, thank you for those who are tuning into this channel. If this is the first time for you, please do not forget to subscribe, click like, or share any of this video that you are resonated with. But if you are my followers and have been subscribed already, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. So today I am bringing a Dr. Elena Gabor back for a talk today about how to access or channel information through hypnotherapy. But I just would like to share a little bit about her. She is a medical hypnotherapist. She is an author of the book, Home of the Tree at the Tree of Life. I always get mixed up off that. But anyway, and also she is a hypnosis instructor. She has taught all around the world. She's traveled all over. Right now, she is in Romania teaching like so many different workshops at a different location around Europe. So anyway, Elena, welcome back again. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me again, Tina. And
Absolutely.
Hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. So, Alina, so let's talk about channeling, because a lot of people do want to channel, but they don't know how, they don't know how to start. And they feel like, especially right now, this time around the earth, everything just so chaotic. Everybody's going through like all this COVID lockdown, really affecting their psychological issue, and mental problem. And that's really kind of hard for a lot of people to even foresee where they're going, and many of them trying to like get this information or messages, from above or from their spirit guides or angels, whatever. And I have been asked before, like, hey, how do we channel information? They can channel to write a book or channel for just anything, just for the guidance. And I know you have an answer for that because you have done a lot of channeling, through your clients.
Yes, absolutely. We all channel to a certain degree every single day. We all get information, when we say, oh, I got this idea. I just got this idea, it's because that information was provided to us either from another consciousness, either we accessed it from somewhere as a consciousness. Right. So we all channel information all the time. We are channels. Our energy field is a channel for energy and consciousness, actually. We all are electromagnetic beings. We attract information, we attract energy. Thoughts are energy, ideas are energy, so we capture them sometimes. But there are people that once guided in hypnosis, they enter this amazing state in which they are not aware of what they're saying or doing. They go through a process in which the subconscious mind, so the mind of the soul, detaches or extends from the conscious mind and begins to travel. The soul in hypnosis extends from the body and begins to travel. And now it depends where it goes. This process of extension of the subconscious mind from the conscious mind is something that we all naturally do every single day. If we would not be able to do that, we would not be able to fall asleep at night. That's why we fall asleep, because the subconscious detaches from the conscious mind. The conscious mind is in the brain, remains somewhere on the background. We fall asleep. We don't really remember what happens during sleep, except for the moments in which the conscious mind and the subconscious reconnect. The conscious mind becomes aware of what the subconscious, the soul, does during the night, because all souls extend from the body and travel, and they continue what they do as consciousness when we are asleep. In general, all souls should, it would be good to do this, they should go back to where they came from, to the light. The light is the home of all souls. It's pure positive energy. And in that infinite reality of pure positive energy, the soul rests charges with positive energy. The energy field is cleansed, the blockages are demagnetized, the negative thoughts, the unpleasant feelings, they're all energy. And that energy is purified. So our soul energy is purified, we get charged, we get offered amazing ideas, advice from our spiritual guides, we make agreements with other souls in order to fix the challenges we have in our current human life. And then as the soul returns in the morning, we feel rested, energized, because we charge with energy. We're not so overwhelmed with things maybe we were overwhelmed the previous day or at night. And
so you
that's why
mentioned
we feel much better. Yes.
So you mentioned we do channel, but most of the time is at nighttime during sleep, correct? And
not always, even during the day, you know, ideas come to us during the day. We get more in tune with our higher consciousness during the day. Let's say if you want to write something and we focus, we center, we connect, and wonderful ideas flow through us. So that's another form of channeling.
See, a lot of people now, they would say, you know, I feel blocked, I cannot channel information, I don't get guidance. So here's a group of people that I'm asking about, like, how can they utilize that certain technique that you can recommend or show the audience how to get this direct, great information?
Not being able to focus and get information, it's because we have some blockages, especially in this area, the head area, and we have to clean our antenna. That's the analogy.
So how do we clean the antenna?
Exactly. We can clean our antenna through meditation, and the best way, and of course rest clearly helps, and also very healthy diet, you know, like vegan diet would definitely help. But we have to also meditate, and meditate in using a certain imagery, which is very effective, to imagine white golden light infusing our body. So to literally imagine that we're on the beach and we're looking at the sun, and the sunlight begins to flow through us. That's the most effective meditation that can get us connected with our higher levels of consciousness and that universe of pure positive energy from which we can channel healing energy, love energy, as well as wisdom, as well as the information that we need. So this type of meditation is very effective.
So, I mean, how does this channeling can be utilized with the hypnotherapy then?
Okay, so here's the interesting thing. Some people, they say about 1% have this ability to detach the conscious from the subconscious, and they function literally from the subconscious level. In hypnosis, they talk from the subconscious level. When they come back at the conscious level, they don't recall anything that they have said. And now it depends on where the hypnotherapist is guiding the client, or sometimes the client does the channeling automatically. The client has already set that system beforehand. Some people do it throughout their lives, not even realizing the process. For example, I can give you the case of a person that once contacted me and said that, I don't know, I've gone through this process for the last 4 years. At the beginning, I had no idea what was going on with me. It was quite unpleasant. I'd gone through horrible times. And then slowly I started to get information from people that I may channel. And then that's how she started to read about what channeling is. And then she started to speak in a language she could not label. She didn't know what language was that, but that came after years of not feeling that good. So at some point she balanced herself somehow automatically. And she started to speak in a language that was unfamiliar to people. She went and even asked, I think she said even specialists, but they did not know what language was that. And now in one of those sessions that you were part of as well, when I brought my client, who's the main character of my book, Home at the Tree of Life, and Mia, it's her name. So I brought Mia to channel for the rest of the people there present at that workshop.
Right.
I guided Mia to the light. And I'll describe her journey of channeling as well for everyone to understand this process. But at that session, Mia was able to channel information from the spiritual masters, who are the spiritual guides of the spiritual guides. And the spiritual guides, for the listeners that don't know what spiritual guides are the souls that guide each of us. Every soul that incarnates has a group of teachers and protectors called spiritual guides that guide them through their journey of evolution. So they are the guides from the moment they're created from the source until they reach that level of evolution to be able to reunite with a source of consciousness, with a source of life energy. Religious people would call that God. Others would call that chi energy. Whatever name you choose, it's the same. The moment that specific lady who was channeled but did not know what language she was speaking, when it was her turn to ask questions, because everyone at the workshop got a chance to ask a few questions, when it was her turn, she started to channel. In that moment, she started to speak in that language. And to our surprise, the spiritual masters through Mia started to talk to her in the same language. I've never heard Mia speaking in another language.
Wow.
In hypnosis, that is called xenoglossy. Xenoglossy.
What does that mean? Yeah.
Xenoglossy, speaking languages you've never learned.
Wow. Wow.
As a human being, you've never learned that language. You don't usually speak that language, but you speak it in hypnosis.
But
and then they started to talk to each other.
Wow.
And after a while, I asked the spiritual masters, what is she saying? What language is she using? And the spiritual master gave us an answer that literally surprised all of us. That was not the answer that we were expecting. We could not even imagine such an answer. That's what's fascinating when you connect with the universe of the light, you know, the divine consciousness or realm. You sometimes get information you never thought are possible. So
what language was it? Yeah.
So the answer was, this soul, that this human being, this lady, is speaking, is channeling her spiritual guides, the Abraham, just like Ester Hicks. So the group of souls, Abraham.
Yeah.
And she was an evolved soul, very close to the level of evolution with the source itself. So the spiritual master said that she has only a few lives, 3-4 lives tops. She would not be able to incarnate anymore because the source attracts her. It's a magnetic attraction, and she cannot go and incarnate anymore at some point. So 3-4 lives tops, and she will reunite with the source. So she's a highly evolved soul. She's channeling the group Abraham, and the language she speaks, this is what was surprising, the language she speaks is the language of the ultimate reality, the language of the light, the language of the divine. here's the interesting detail, is that their souls speak telepathically. But
Wow.
if you translate that into a language, you know, if you have a body and you translate it into a language, it's that language.
Got it.
And
Yeah.
they explain that other dimensions of existence, like the lower dimensions of existence and other places, other levels, other planes of existence, they also have other languages.
Wow.
So not only physical realms have languages, but energetic realms, if you translate them into a physical language. And it was such a beautiful language. I asked, how do you say I love you in the language of the ultimate reality? And they said yata, yata.
Wow.
They said it's a sacred language that can heal you. If you use that language, you're literally channeling, you're bringing, you're connecting with the energy of ultimate reality, and you heal. And I do have everything recorded, so I have a lot of phrases, and I was told that they will give me more of this language.
That's beautiful. Hey guys, if you have kids, if you guys are young and have kids and you want to name your kids, Yata would be the one, right?
Yata. The accent is on the second. Yata.
Now I have a question, Elena. You mentioned earlier about only 1% in population able to channel like me and that lady, correct?
That's what I heard at a conference, the Evolution of Psychotherapy conference, about either 4 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
In Anaheim. It's an Ericksonian conference. And one of the famous psychotherapists there, Dr. Rossi, was referring to the process, and that's what he said, that only about 1% of the population has this ability. I'm not sure how they reached to that conclusion, but I've noticed that a small percentage of the people that get into hypnosis are able to have this shift in consciousness, where there is this dissociation between the conscious and subconscious mind. And the soul, the subconscious, can channel information from another consciousness as well. So in that state, you can talk directly to that soul. And here's an interesting story about that. I was guiding at my first hypnotherapy certification program, actually in 2013. I had it in Los Angeles, actually in Marina del Rey Hotel. There I had the training, and I guided Mia. So the person that I already know is able to channel, the main character of my book. I guided her into a life because she wanted to see why she always has this feeling of being poor and not being able to get money. So she had this feeling her entire life, and she wanted to know, where is it coming from? What's causing this feeling?
Right.
And she saw a life, lived in India. She was a man in the upper caste. So there's caste there. Caste. And he was part of a, upper caste, a rich caste, rich family. And he fell in love with a woman, but she wasn't part of the higher caste. She was more poor, and he wasn't allowed to be with her. So in order to be with her, he actually had to let go of his family and his upper class, and he go and be with her. And actually they weren't able at all to be with her, and he was exiled by his family.
Wow.
So he ended up on the streets. He ended up begging, and she was describing how they, the beggars were waiting outside of a huge property, a big gate. They were throwing them, I'm not sure what exactly, some sort of food, some sort of bread or something. Right. And it was such a it was such a you know, an unhappy life, a sad life. And at some point he was beaten by some people and ended up next to a small river, and he was waiting to die. He was feeling the water flowing, and then as I guided her as this man to the last moments of that life, as she was a he in that life, as that man released his physical body as a soul, so Mia's soul, in other words, extended from that life. And I asked about what lessons that life provides. And the soul, because Mia wasn't aware in that moment, she had the conscious and subconscious detached. I was able to talk to her soul directly, and I asked, what is she learning? Or and she the soul said that that's why she feels the same in this life. But she also said something, the soul also said something else, that was like a lesson for all of us.
Yeah.
The soul said, I was a slave in that life, and I continue to be a slave in this life. And I asked, what do you mean?
Yeah.
How are you a slave in this life? And the soul said, in this life, I am the slave of my human desires, my human ego. Because
Wow.
Mia was on this journey of, you know, getting her degrees. So she went for the AA degrees, she got 2 masters, and she wanted to go and do the doctorate degree, and she was working constantly, or so for many years already. She was in school working and working and working. So, and I asked her at some point, why do you want to do this? Because I want to have a, you know, a position in which I'm leading other people, I am in charge, I am. So that was the answer. Like, I am a slave. I was a slave in that life, and I am a slave in this one too, because now I'm the slave of my human ambitions.
Wow,
So
that's powerful.
And this was really amazing. And I want to explain something else about channeling.
Yeah.
How do people channel? So there are people that do it naturally. They do it in hypnosis. They never knew they had that skill. For example, when I first worked with Mia, or when Dr. Brian Weiss first worked with Catherine, the main character of Many Lives, Many Masters, right? Catherine didn't know she was able to channel information from the spiritual masters.
Exactly.
Mia didn't know. Catherine initially didn't want to do hypnosis to address her anxiety, fears, and so on. Same with Mia. Mia didn't want to do hypnosis to address her suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, sleep disorders, and so on. So when she finally did that as a last resort, just like Catherine, Mia, she started to review the sources of her challenges. I guided her to the sources of her challenges, and she saw the first life, the gypsy life, the life in which she was the daughter of an aristocratic family. She was 5 years old or so. They went to a trip to see another relative with a carriage and horses, the whole family. She was the only child. And they were attacked. Her family was attacked by some people, by burglars, and there was a fight, and her parents were killed. She was taken to an orphanage. The nuns at the orphanage were beating the children, so she was able to run away to. She didn't know her parents died, so she was hoping to find her mother, and ended up in a gypsy tribe of circus people. And she was adopted by the leader of that gypsy tribe, and she was very happy there. They were free people, doing what they wanted, traveling all over the world. They were in France at that point. They traveled to Germany, and she had a really beautiful life. got married with one of the relatives of the nephews of the leader of the tribe, and she had a beautiful marriage. She was very loved and treasured by that husband. His name was Mark, but he died at some point in an accident, and he died, and she had to raise their 3 boys by herself for a while. But that was an opportunity for her to, you know, realize that she can handle life by herself or with the help of the community. And at the end of that life, when I guided her to see the last moments of her life and see what happens afterwards, her husband waited for her, and she was so happy. They were both looking young again and beautiful.
Wow.
And he guided her to this bright white golden light that looked like the sun. And he said, I'm going to guide you to a beautiful place, and we're going to be happy as we're supposed to be. And he took her literally to the light. And in this process, I started to ask questions. I asked Mia to ask him. I realized that she was so clearly describing what he was saying as if she was hearing him. She was, in a sense. And she slowly started to answer back and give me his answers. And as we continued this process, at some point, I asked her to allow him to speak the answers directly, for her not to be to continue to be the intermediary of that conversation,
Right.
to let him say the words. And that's how she started to allow the spiritual masters to provide information directly. That was such a beautiful process. In time, the spiritual master said, come back next time. We're going to show you more of the ultimate reality. So initially, the trip was only in the light. The light is only the protective layer of the ultimate reality. It's a gate of purification of the soul. So it's an energy in which the souls get purified, all the blockages are removed, all the pain, the suffering, the unpleasant thoughts and feelings, anything that's not positive. And then at the end of life, they go through that evaluation process, the last judgment, the evaluation process, which is a very positive evaluation of their progress they had in that life. And I think in the last interview, I described a little bit about that.
Yes,
and then in the next sessions, she was able to go beyond the light in the ultimate reality and explore that infinite universe. And she went to the tree of life, the Akashic record place, same thing, different terms. It's where the souls deposit all the knowledge, all the information, everything they brought with them from the life they exited from, and they release that there. The personality they had in that life, they release it there. They are not that personality anymore, and they re-become their true self, the higher self, the spirit consciousness, the subconscious mind.
Wow.
Through that process of releasing the personality they had in that life. And in that process, what happened, Mia explored the ultimate reality. She went to the tree of life. She discovered the river of life, guided by the spiritual masters. They were guiding her for us, for all of us, to understand what's in the ultimate reality. So they presented her the tree of life. She saw it. She felt how it is there, what's going on there. You'll find this information in my book, Home at the Tree of Life. That too you can find on Amazon.
I'm going to show people real quick the book.
Yeah, exactly. And then
give you a little break right there, but quickly, so we don't miss that, guys. Here you go, Home at the Tree of Life at Amazon.com.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. At the moment, it's in English and in Romanian language, but very soon it's going to be in Spanish as well. Very soon.
Wow.
Hopefully in 1 month, it's going to be in Spanish as well. Yes.
Okay, guys. So Romania English right now, Spanish is gonna come out in about a month, right, Elena?
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Hey guys, gotta pick up this book. You
Yeah,
know, this is
it's
about,
amazing information.
yes, this is about everything that we have talked about in the past interviews that we talk about, Elena. And I actually met Mia. This is Elena website, Dr.
drgabor.com. Yeah, drgabor.com.
Right.
drgabor.com.
Good.
Yeah.
Guys, go there if you wanted to, like, you know, get to, you know, contact her about the workshop that she offer
Or
constantly, or
the
even,
certification program. That's what I'm teaching in Europe, the certification program in hypnotherapy and all this work that I do.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
Very
you
good.
know, all her information, even the link to her book is right in this description, guys. So easy, so easy. So, wow.
Yes. And then,
Mhm.
so to describe the story of channeling, so what she did, she then discovered there, guided by the spiritual masters, she discovered the river of life. It's a river of consciousness,
Mhm.
a river in which the souls travel together in the ultimate reality to various, you know, planes there. It's an infinite reality with infinite levels of existence of souls there. And then Mia, as well as actually 7 other clients of mine, separate from each other, through our work, they discovered the same thing. In the book,
Wow.
you'll notice that there was another client, Julia. There are 4 cases in the book described. Another client, Julia, exploring the ultimate reality, encountered this infinite energy that looked totally different than her spiritual guides, very wise, seemed very old but eternal, not old as in, you know, an old person, but eternal,
Yeah.
very wise, was pulsating and had the ability to appear and disappear instantly, to become invisible. And she starts to communicate with that infinite energy, and the answers were, she started to channel, in a sense, not pure channeling in the sense that she was still there present.
Yeah.
I'm to describe later the forms of channeling, and she was conveying that information, she was accessing. It was amazing. And in the next session I had with Mia and the spiritual masters, we both, in that session with Julia, we were both, in a sense, left wondering, what was that energy? Who was it? Who did we speak with? And in the next session with Mia, when she connected with the spiritual masters, I got the chance to ask, who or what was that energy? Who was it? Because Julia said it's clearly different than the spiritual guides.
Wow.
And the spiritual masters through Mia said, it's actually the source of life, what you call God.
Wow. Wow.
I was left, my brain froze. I was left without anything to say for a while. I was like, as if I was, you know, just literally shocking to me. Never thought that
Profound.
that would be
Profound.
possible
Yeah.
to actually go in hypnosis, be guided somewhere and talk to God. Never thought that's possible.
Wow.
And then in another session, another client described the same, but it's so unusual looking, so different than what is taught in religion, that you would never make the connection. So 4 of my clients independently, separately from each other, discovered the same thing. And also Mia, at some point, guided by the spiritual masters, went to the source. And actually you can merge with the source, you can become one with it, enter the reality of the source, which is also infinite. Even
Wow.
in the source, there are infinite levels of vibration and existence. So she became one with the source. And again, the feeling of pulsation, they all feel in the source. There's nowhere else in hypnosis that I heard anyone talking about this feeling being carried up and down, you
Wow.
know, like it's hard for them to describe because it's nothing physical there. Everything is energetic, and not even energetic in the sense we know it. It's pure consciousness, that type of energy, the energy of consciousness. So how do you describe the undescribable? That's why they have such a difficulty putting everything into words. The feelings they experience there, they're so hard to describe because you do not get to feel feelings like that in your human life, not even in the most happy moments of your life, not even in the most exciting things that you do. You don't get to feel feelings like that because they are of an intensity that is very difficult to describe. And when you tell to someone that person will not be able to feel what you're describing because that person never been to that level of feeling and connection with that energy that elevates you to that level and makes you feel like that. It's a state very hard to describe. So now back to channeling, Mia in time started to automatically in hypnosis channel the spiritual masters once she got into the light and beyond the light. So she was able to go and explore the root causes of her problems, and session by session she got to feel better and better, and her suicidal thoughts disappeared after the first session. The depression took a while but got better and better with every session, the anxiety and everything. She got to the level in which she felt she was completely healed, felt great. And now in her case, this is how she did the channeling, connecting with the light, connecting beyond the light in the ultimate reality. So she was channeling from the ultimate reality, her spiritual guide. Actually, the husband in the gypsy life, Mark, that guided her and explained the ultimate reality to her, I got to ask, who are you, Mark, in relationship with Mia? He said, I'm her spiritual guide. He was one of the spiritual masters. He's actually, in a sense, one of the leaders of the spiritual guides world. It's the one in charge with justice.
Wow.
It's his direct guide is the source itself.
Quick question on this about Mia. If she hadn't come to you for hypnotherapy, would she be able to connect with this light and all this experience that you have?
No, she wouldn't have known.
Because hypnotherapy can take people in deeper. Right?
Yeah, she was perceiving certain things like many people do. Like when she was little, she could see maybe energy and things like that, but nothing more than that. She never knew.
So back to what you said earlier, that every channel, however, very 1%, very small 1% able to access like what Mia does, or Abraham Hicks and Bashar, all those, only small number of people.
And that is pure channeling. So that's what I wanted to describe. There are two types of channels.
Yeah.
The ones that are able to detach their subconscious from the conscious mind and speak directly from the subconscious perspective, whether you're speaking directly with the soul or the soul is connected with the guides, or
that's what most people want.
The pure channeling. Yes. Okay. So pure channeling, in my opinion, is the most valuable type of channeling. And why? Because the information does not get to be altered by the human mind perception. Because in the other form of channeling, in the conscious channel, the person is conscious when they receive the information. They're trying to translate it the best they can, and that's where distortions or incorrect evaluation of the information was presented can occur. Right. For example, the Long Island medium, she's a conscious channel. Yes. She's getting various information, whether images or hearing was said to her, or but she's there, present consciously at the process.
Right.
So this is conscious channeling.
Yeah.
Or conscious mediumship. And it's the other one that Mia does, that Catherine was doing in Brian Weiser's Many Lives, Many Masters. it's unconscious channeling. It's pure channeling. That's what it's called, unconscious or pure channeling. Bashar does that as well.
And Abraham
Esther
Hicks
Hicks was doing it. Jane Roberts with set material, right? If you read about that, yes, she was doing the same thing.
Would you say all this pure channeling is best to go through hypnotherapy guided by a therapist, experienced therapist like yourself?
That's a very good point.
Yes.
There are people, it's very important who you are channeling, who you are connecting with, because it's not all the same. So if you are guided into the light and you're doing this process cautiously and step by step, and in a state of connection with the ultimate reality, with pure positive energy, and you're channeling from there, someone from there, regardless of who it is, they're all pure positive consciousness. It's all good when that information comes through you, or when the guides or the spiritual masters come through you. They heal you. They're high vibrations beings. They are healers. They are the energy of love.
Yeah.
They are the extensions, the forces of divinity, the forces of the source, right? So they're extensions. They are the rivers of chi energy, the rivers of divine energy in this reality, and they can come through you and work through you. So that's pure channeling. It's all safe, all good if you connect with the ultimate reality and channel from there. You as a soul, you go there, and through your connection, the spiritual masters come and speak. Just at the most, who's the most famous channel, pure channel that you know?
Well,
Jesus.
like oh
Jesus,
my God, yes, of course.
and I'm sure, you know, many other, I'm sure Buddha was channeling too. I'm sure, you know, they all channeled, all these
but I
wonderful
think
teachers.
I'm sure back then he probably didn't go through hypnotherapy, meditation.
But he was getting in that state by himself. He's such an evolved soul that he was able to get in that state and connect directly with the source, and the source come through him, you know. And
so would you say those 1% of people who are able to connect with the pure channeling are more evolved soul than others?
In order to channel, that's a great point. In order to channel, you have to be very close to the vibration of the soul or consciousness that you're channeling, because it cannot come through you if you're on a totally different vibration. If they're here and you're here, they can short circuit your brain. It's like putting you know, you have to make sure it's a match for the energy to flow, otherwise burning your brain. You know, so that's why you have to be at a certain level of evolution to channel the spiritual masters or the spiritual guides or the source itself. A soul cannot do that. A soul that's at the beginning of their lives cannot do that. They cannot.
I have noticed too, you know, Elena, those who have pure channel, they tend to have depression before, or like difficult in their life. I mean, hardship in their lifetime before, and then they become a pure channel.
Interesting. Now, there is another form of channeling. So there are multiple ways to do channeling.
Yeah.
This is the healthiest way possible.
Yeah.
To channel from the light of pure positive consciousness. There are people that develop this process without realizing what's going on, and they channel some other souls from the energy field. And now it's very important, who are you channeling? I know, for example, in Los Angeles, another person who's channeling. She's channeling Dr. Peebles, who was a doctor, healer, a psychic, and a US ambassador in the 1800s. But she's channeling that soul from the life of Dr. Peebles. So she's not channeling him from home. He's coming from the plane of existence of the life as Dr. Peebles. And that's why He's coming with his band of angels. That's how he describes. And when he comes through the woman, through the channel, and speaks, he speaks in that old English language. So all channels that speak in a different or old style language, they do that because they're coming from the plane of existence of their life, not from the light, not from home. That's another form of channeling. It can be okay, if that's all comes with the angels, but the woman that's channeling, she describes, she gets out of the body and stays somewhere close to the body. So she's clearly aware of the fact that she's not going to the light, she's not going beyond the light. So it's a different process than Mia does. It's safe because she's protected by that soul, the Dr. People's soul and his band of angels. She feels good, she feels protected, it's all good. But there are other people that channel, that can channel souls that are not necessarily positive completely, in the sense that they haven't gone in the light to get purified by the problems they had when they exited that human life. Some people channel souls that are lost. They channel souls from the lower dimensions of existence. There are people that channel souls, and the information that comes, it's not 100% correct. The lower dimensions of existence don't necessarily bring in only positive energy. That's why they are lower dimensions of existence. They're low vibrations. They have information that sometimes is not correct, or is distorted, or is not all positive. So it's so important who you're channeling. And in order to channel positive energy, you have to work on yourself to clean up the antenna, to meditate in the light. If your soul is an evolved soul, do this journey to the light automatically, or connect with someone that's positive, that's wise, and that can bring information. I've seen, for example, some videos of Jay-Z Knight, who used to channel Ramtha, changing her posture, looking like an old man. I saw an interview, a TV interview. She looked like an old man walking. Ramtha, when I saw that, I realized it's coming from that life in which he was Ramtha, that soul, and coming through her and speaking in that a little different than she speaks. When you speak a little different in hypnosis than your regular way of speaking, that means that soul is not coming from the light, it's coming from the life. They're incarnating so from that life, which is on a parallel plane of existence with the current life. All lives exist right now. There's no past life. They're all happening right now, and we can connect as a consciousness with ourselves from other lives, or other souls from other lives, like Ramtha or Daryl Anka, who's connecting with
a
version of himself. So you can connect with another version of yourself, another version of himself, who is incarnated on a planet which is on a higher level of existence than ours, so on a much more evolved planet than ours. And I understood that right now they're in the energy field of the earth. He's not in that life necessarily anymore. He's in this plane, and he continues to channel Bashar and doing a wonderful job. So
a lot of the channeler like Bashar, Abraham Hicks, Esther, they channel a different lifetime in a higher plane. Is that what you?
I would say that Ester Hicks is channeling from home. The group of souls, Abraham. So they're channeling from the light. They're not incarnated. They're not channeling from their incarnations. They're channeling from the light. So
but it seems like she's very conscious, like a conscious channeler, right?
She's not. She says she's not. She looks as if she's the same, because this is a very important detail as well.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference in Mia when the spiritual masters come. You cannot tell the difference in Esther. When
That's
you
right.
can tell the difference, that means they're coming from the light. When you see a change in the way they speak in a totally different accent, or an old
Wow.
style English, or their posture changes, that means they're channeling from that specific life of the soul that does the channeling.
That's an eye-opening information.
Yes,
Eye-opening
I
information.
got them
Wow, guys,
all.
this is powerful. Yeah.
Yes, and that I got them all in the sessions with Mia, and the spiritual masters explained to me all these details. It's not something that I've read. It's not something that I learned in medical school or in dental school or in any other.
Can I ask you, Elena, because I know there's a gazillion of hypnotherapists out there, doing the same thing you do, but you are one of the few that experience this kind of channeling through your clients. Of course, you probably started off with traditional hypnotherapy, but you ended up with all this amazing information that's beyond your comprehension. Is it because you are evolved soul, or is it because you are selected to do this work? Are you like,
I asked that question. I got multiple, multiple messages from peers, and even the teacher, the person that taught me hypnotherapy at that hypnotherapy school, and she said, "You're so lucky that you got such a client." So that made me ask in those sessions with Mia, why did Mia come to me, or why didn't she go to another person? And they explained that this is the reason why we incarnated, to bring, because it was the desire of my higher self to bring this clarification to this knowledge, the subconscious science in a sense, or subconscious knowledge.
yes,
Into this reality, for us to understand better what's going on, because they said from their perspective we look like we're walking through dark. We're like blind people walking but don't know exactly what we're doing, and they felt like it's important to shed light on these things for us to understand what we're doing in this reality, and what life is, at least on this planet, and
I
why
see.
we're coming here.
So for those who want to channel like Bashar or Esther Hicks, like Mir, you feel that many sessions of hypnotherapy will help them to get there? Or do you feel it has to be their soul contract? Because you mentioned about 1% that able to reach that point, that level.
The soul of Darilanka made an agreement before this life to help evolve, the consciousness of this planet. Some make agreements before that. There are other teachers that come and teach same agreement. That's their life purpose. Probably this is my life purpose. That was Daryl Zanka's purpose. I don't know, other teachers' purpose as well. But there are situations in which the soul can choose to help more and say, I want to help more, goes home and says, I want to help more. I want to change my life and help much more people than I'm helping right now. And then the universe arranges the opportunities for that soul who already has the potential, has the skills, has not discovered yet in their human life that they can channel or that they can connect in certain ways. And then they create that opportunity for that soul to be able to help more than they have been helped up to that point.
So back to the type of channeling, Elena, you mentioned about go direct to the source, like Esther Hicks and Mia, and then into a different lifetime like Bashar. What about the psychic medium, Long Island? Is she the second type, or she's another type of channeling?
She's in the category, and many others I've seen on TV that are conscious channels. So they receive information while they are in the conscious state. They perceive, they're able to see or connect with whoever they're receiving the information from, and connect it, but stay conscious at the same time and interpret the information they're receiving. Many times you saw them asking questions. I see this, I don't know what it means. What does it mean to you? And that's how they come up with the information.
So I would assume, I would say that majority of us are in at this layer, at this level of conscious channeling, correct?
Yes, we all can channel. We all get information.
Yeah.
Einstein was channeling. Nikola Tesla was channeling. Mendeleev, he created the elements. How do you say that in English? The elements board. You know, at chemistry, the element board.
I can't
think
night. Of it. Yeah,
he created it in one night. Mendeleev. Those that like chemistry, I'm sure they know what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
The table of elements. That's what it's called in chemistry. We all learn it in school. He created that table of elements in one night and described elements that were not described to that point. They had no name yet, but he described the property of those. You know,
that's amazing.
There's so many channels. Niels Bohr channel, they all channel. Einstein in a night, he got the information, you know, about the speed of light. And, you know,
this is a good one that you just brought it up about people channel information that becomes their, yeah. So I actually have heard quite a few people said, you know, when I was young, I used to be able to channel all this information, get all these ideas, but now it's like, I can't get there. I can't get there, right? I know we talk about hypnotherapy and meditation. What would you suggest? Hypnotherapy or meditation, or what other form that these people can?
Yeah, absolutely, both of them. Hypnotherapy is like the fast road to where you want to get in any situation. Like if you want to overcome anxiety, depression, sleep disorders, whatever, the hypnotherapy, it's going to go away very fast. If you want to take this journey, Mia took the journey of self-discovery through accessing the sources of her problems, the solutions of her problems, through past life regression, life beyond lives, exploration, right? She explored the ultimate reality, and that's how channeling came to her. So
she went direct and fast because she came to you for hypnotherapy.
She had to release a lot of things to be able to channel properly. She had to get to a higher state of being. I want to describe another case, very interesting case. Yes. I've seen article of this case. They call it the woman who speaks, the woman with 100 and something lives, 120 lives, I think. She was a woman born, I think, somewhere in Russia, and at some point,
was it a book?
No, it's a real person.
Wow. Okay.
She was able to channel versions of herself from those 120 lives. She was such a evolved soul that she was allowing those versions of herself from those lives to speak through her.
Wow.
And she was able even to speak ancient languages. They, you know, they're not known today. Those languages don't exist today. She was able to decipher whatever artifacts, like historic artifacts with messages.
Wow.
And there's another channel, another person. To finish the previous story, the woman with 120 lives,
yeah.
She worked with a physician. She was able to do kind of like Mia, medical intuitive. She was able to help the people, and the doctor was very impressed. But at some point, I don't know how she ended up being taken by specialists to investigate her. And what they did, they did not understand, they had no idea what channeling is. They did not know the process. Psychiatrists diagnosed her with multiple personality disorder. She told her she's sick. And when she had a breakdown because of that, and her life became a nightmare. And that's what the source and the spiritual masters have said, that That's what they want to avoid with Mia, because if it ends up on the hands of psychiatrists that have no idea what this process
Oh my
is,
God,
they will
Elena.
mess up with her mind and get her in a terrible place. That's why people today say many times that if Jesus ended up, you know, talking to a psychiatrist, they would diagnose him with, you know,
Looney,
multiple
yeah.
personality or something.
Well, you know, I'm so happy you brought this up. You know, I'm a hypnotherapist too, right, Elena? I just, you know, haven't done as much as you do. But anyway, I ran into 3 clients who actually have channel as well, like you said. And all 3 of them came across having multiple personality. And actually, one of them came out okay after several years because she got so not knowing where she's at. But in different dimension of this lifetime here. However, a couple of them seem to be kind of like, if other people don't know, they think that they're crazy, multiple personality. So when you brought this up, it's kind of confirmed what I have experienced, because I was kind of like, they come across like not there, you know, confused.
With multiple personality disorder, it's a little bit of a different thing.
Yeah.
It's dissociative identity disorders called now. In the psychiatrist described, or in the DSM is described, a condition in which a part of the consciousness splits in multiple parts, and each part takes a certain role to do certain tasks to help the whole. But how do you create a personality that a part of your consciousness, right, that starts speaking in a language you've never ever studied?
Yes,
How
that's
do
what
you
they
do
did.
that? Or there are other situations in channeling in which, when the person, the host soul of the soul, the host soul of the body, you know, the original soul of the body, is wearing glasses, right? They cannot see at distance. They go to an ophthalmologist, like an eye doctor, and the doctor diagnosed them. They prescribe, you know, to have glasses and so on. And in the channeling state, they don't need glasses. They can see very well. How do you do that? How do you split your consciousness and create? So there's a lot of faults in this diagnosis and the way it is described. It's because actually it's not one soul in multiple personality disorder. There are multiple souls, but that personality is developed because of a traumatic event, especially in childhood, mainly in childhood, and many times having to do with sexual trauma.
Oh
So,
my God, yes.
so it's a different situation. You know, the people that channel, they're healthy people. They you know, yes, they may have had issues like anxiety, depression, and so on, but they're, in general, they haven't been traumatized necessarily to that level. So there's a lot of problems with this diagnosis, the way it is described in medicine. And I've asked a lot of my colleagues psychiatrists to tell me, please talk to me, how much do you know about the subconscious? In 2-3 phrases, they're done. That's all they know about the subconscious. And then the chief of psychiatry told me at one of the conferences, when I described this, they said, oh, that's a lot that they know. 3 phrases, it's actually a lot. So
wow.
Yeah,
You're kidding me. No way.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's not understood, the subconscious. So I also asked them about channeling, if they know what it is, and they said they have no idea what it is. So if you don't know what it is, but you're diagnosing a person with that, it's a difficult situation with multiple personality disorders.
Because
But
psychological problem.
Yeah, but they don't come at hypnotherapy sessions. They don't. And why? Because all those souls know that once you go to a doctor and they figure out what's going on, they are identified, and all of a sudden the situation is understood. They don't want to be discovered. The people that have multiple personality disorders very rarely end up getting to doctors. It's only when the other people in the family may tell them, hey, you said this, you did this, and the person says, no, I didn't. No, I never done that, because they're not aware of what they're doing in that pure channeling state. It's sort of a pure channeling, but it's another soul that takes over. But those souls stay with that person. So they stay, they take over one, they all share the same body. In the classic channeling, the pure channeling, the person who you connect with, like your spiritual master, they're not staying there with you in your body to share your body. They don't. They just come when they're invited in that process, and they go, and then you remain by yourself and you do your own things. Yes, they guide you from outside, but they're not in the body with you to share your body.
Wow. Powerful, Elena. We got a powerful information today
And
about
then
channeling.
the problem is when people channel souls from the lower dimensions of existence. That's when they will end up having psychiatric problems.
So they lead to another question I have. What about, there are people who would love to channel, and there are people who are teaching how to channel out there. But I remember that those who want to channel needs to kind of work on themselves first.
Oh, yes, I would suggest definitely meditation in the light is the best thing that you can do. Focus on white golden light that looks like the sun, and imagine that light flowing through you, and stay with that imagery. That is the best thing that helps you clean up the blockages. You're literally inviting pure positive energy through your body. And from there, the process evolves. Also, through hypnotherapy, to work on the challenges that are coming from other existences from you, for you to elevate yourself, because that's how you can get closer to channeling your higher self, your own wisdom, the wisdom of the spiritual masters, the source itself. There are people that channel the source. For example, I saw another person with unusual experiences in Elia Benz. She actually is able to enter that state of channeling, but she's actually an extension of the source itself. Wow. She's an extension of the source. The source rarely incarnates. Only when it's really needed on certain planets, on certain planes of existences, that's when the source comes through. Her name is Inelia Benz. I don't know what's going on with her lately. I've followed her journey like 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't know what's going on right now.
Can we talk about her next session or next interview, Elena?
Yes, we can do that. I don't know that many things about her, only that she is an extension of the source, and there are multiple people on the planet who are extensions of the source at this time, because our planet is going through a time of, let's say, transformation, through a severe battle with vibrations that should not be brought onto this planet.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about that next time then. Yes. Can we do that? Can we do that? Absolutely. About what's going on with the energy of the planets right now? Because I'm sure you probably get a lot of information through your clients, through your student who channel. Oh, I love to, because I think it's going to be a great information that everyone wants to know about as well, especially what's going on right now. Why there's so many extension of sources are incarnating right now, and what's going on, what's to come with the energy. Can we do that on the next interview, Elena?
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. That's an exciting topic.
I think so. I think people will be excited about that. So guys, know that if you want to channel, Elena gave you this great information here. Answer. See someone like Elena, medical, hypnotherapist, and the teacher who can actually help you release all these issues that you have first, and then get into meditation, which she can teach you all that. You can also contact her for the workshop, private sessions through her website.
And the hypnotherapy certification program that's gonna start in July, I think at the end of July. It's on my website. And I will be teaching for people from all over the world. We're going to do the teaching on Zoom. I've done many Zoom classes. The students are excited about working on Zoom. It's very easy. Everyone sees how we work. Everyone can hear the same, you know, when
And
it's a Zoom class.
you will teach how to work on all this issue, right? With all layers of problems.
It's certification programs in hypnotherapy, medical hypnosis. Medical hypnotherapy is the most extensive training in medical hypnotherapy that I think exists at this point.
Wow.
And spiritual hypnotherapy, certification in past life regression, therapy and analysis, and life beyond life's regression, the exploration of the ultimate reality. And of course, many other future life progression, age regression, age progression, timeline therapy, multiple guided imagery. It's a serious training, and the manual, one of them looks like this. This is a
that's gold. That's gold. Yeah. That's gold, because you don't get a lot out there on any books, Amazon, like that, from, you know, direct experiences like that. And what you offer in a workshop too is amazing. For what you charge is very reasonable, guys. I mean, you've gone to traditional hypnotherapy school. It's a lot of money. I went there before. I was like, I didn't use it.
5 times more expensive than my class that contains everything.
Everything, because, you know, I was interested in past life therapy, but it was not really focused on a traditional hypnotherapy school, which I was kind of disappointed at. But definitely what you offer is like a lot of great classes, which is, I'm grateful that you are offering this to the whole world, Elena. Yeah, are you born? This is your purpose. This is your purpose. That's why you connected with your clients who have this gift, because not many hypnotherapists will experience this. I know that. Not many. And for you to connect to all these souls and to write this book, to offer these classes, workshop all over the world, you're chosen to walk this path to help people. So guys, her website, drgabor.com, you know, to look up on her workshops, her books, go to Amazon. Everything is under description here on this YouTube. I have it all. Click the link, get her book, read up about all the stories she shared about Mia, a different channeling you will know all about, and you can even get there yourself. Last word, Elena. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you, Tina, for
thank you. And definitely next time, let's talk about the one that we just brought it up a little bit earlier about extension of the source, reincarnation. I think that is, we need to talk about that one. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm good. All right, guys, make sure you subscribe, share this video to your friends, family, anyone who might be interested in hypnotherapy and her programs, her book. Share on your social media, spread the word of Dr. Elena Gabor, you know, because she's truly gifted. Share it out to the world, share out. And remember, at the end of July, she got programs coming up with her classes. Check it out, guys. Until then, thank you guys for watching and following. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Thank you. And Elena, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh my God, this is such an eye-opening experience. And even though I have studied this before, it's like, God, there's so much to learn from you. You're truly an expert. Thank you. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Bye.